Welcome to the Naughty Child Podcast. With me, Richard.
And me, Polly.
I'm the dad.
And I'm the daughter.
And this is Today at the Cricket.
Home Commonwealth games in their home city at their home ground.
I'd still take a Commonwealth goal.
It's pushing me on a little bit further. It's just, I've kind of tasted what it's like, and I just want to keep it going now.
Our Māori culture is massive as part of our sports identity, and that's something with the New Zealand Commonwealth Games team that's really been brought in, and it's really different probably for the White Ferns girls.
The potential to play in a Commonwealth.
I think for us, we've sort of talked about as a team being part of a wider national team.
That would be one of the highlights of my career.
It's definitely something that we're all looking forward to. I know it's a different environment. It's not, the way we used to tours.
But we're going to Birmingham and we're part of the New Zealand team. We're not the White Ferns, we're the New Zealand T20 cricket team.
What a day.
It's been a very long day and I'm absolutely shattered.
2 2020 games in a day. It's quite a lot.
It is. It doesn't sound a lot because if you think about it, that's shorter than going to see one 50 over game. But it's just, I don't know, it's exhausting.
It is very exhausting, emotionally as much as anything else. So England lost.
Yeah.
I thought I'd just put that out there to start with, just in case anyone's worried or anything. Yeah. England, India this morning, 11 o'clock start. And so India won the toss and batted.
And we were quite happy with that. And you said ahead of the game, actually, I think it'd be really good if we had a bowl first, which we did. And you were saying throughout the day, well, it'd be great if England could be challenged, because especially if they were going to progress through to the final, the other finalist would 99% of the time be Australia. And so actually, they're probably going to really challenge you. So you want that experience, and especially with newer people in the team, you want to give them that chance to go out and do their thing before they have it in the most high pressure situation for a final. And England were really challenged. And there were definitely points where it was going a bit wrong. I think in terms of India's batting, it was very strong. I mean, Smriti Mandana, she can't be stopped. She's incredible.
The power play was the key moment, really, for them, wasn't it? And so they piled on runs in the power play. I think they were 60 odd, were they?
It was
after 6 overs, without loss. And so Smriti Mandana looked absolutely unstoppable. But then in the middle, we managed to take some wickets.
Yeah.
They seemed to run out of energy a little bit. Jemima came in after Shafali Verma was out and, played very conservatively, just run a ball. And it looked, we were speculating as to, what would be a good score and what we think they would get. And we thought keeping them under 160 would be good, which turned out to be quite quite insightful.
Yeah.
And in fact, they were 160 as the last ball was bowled, and Jamie Rodriguez hit it for four. So 164. So England chasing 165, which is on the high side. But at no point did I think England would not do it until the last 3 overs.
Yeah. I mean, they had an amazing power play, very similar to India's. And it was just kind of showing that intent. I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think a very significant point was when Alice Capti got run out.
Yeah. And it was really odd. She played it out, and the ball is one of these where the ball spins after the batter's hit it, and often it deceives the fielder.
Yeah.
But in this case, it seemed to deceive her, because she seemed to think that there were 2 runs there, and there never were 2 runs there at any point. But I think she wasn't fully aware where the ball had actually gone. It was in the fielder's hands, and so she came halfway down the wicket and had to quickly turn around and go back. And again, would have been in had she had her bat held the right way around.
Yeah. It was so close. Yeah, and I mean, she thought he was in everyone. Like even the Indian fielders thought that.
That was really odd. Everyone reset to start because the third umpire says, right, I've seen enough. I've made my decision.
Yeah.
And everyone assumed that decision was not out. But because she had a bat turned the wrong way, it meant that none of her bat was actually touching the ground over the line.
Yeah. And it's one of those that in the moment it's obviously really frustrating, but then when you look back on a game when you've lost, that's really tough because you think actually that was quite a key moment.
Yeah.
I also thought Nat Sivers' innings wasn't that good. Like, don't get me wrong, she got 41 runs. I'm not taking that away, but it was very slow compared to either stuff we've seen from her, or if you look at the top three, their strike rates are very high, and she wasn't consistent with that. Right at
the end, she hit a 6 and then 4 leg by straight away afterwards, and that gave us a little bit of hope, but it just felt like too little, too late.
Yeah.
And what we really needed was someone to really push the scoring on. So Amy Jones did a reasonable job at that, but we somehow lost our way around the sort of 16th, 17th, 18th overs.
And this is what I don't get. England have been talking about this flexibility with the order and flexibility of players, all this stuff, and it's great. They've demonstrated that with Alice Kepsey coming in at 3 if they lose a wicket in the power play. However, when you're in a situation where you need X amount of runs from X amount of less balls, then bring in someone like Sophie Ecclestone, who can hit sixes, because she has that time to kind of settle in a bit more, rather than leaving it down to the last 2 balls for her to have to hit 2 sixes from, or 1 6 I think she hit in the end. But I didn't quite understand that, because bringing someone like Brunton, yes, she can obviously bat and yes, she can get sixes, but actually if you look at a player who's shown what they can do kind of in terms of big hitting in recent times, is Sophie Ecclestone. You would turn to her any day of the week, or even someone like Izzy Wong. Like, I know she hasn't batted in international cricket yet, but she's batted well at Edgbaston before, and she can bat really well.
Yes, and again, these are frustrations, aren't they? And it's very, very fine margins. When you lose by 4 runs, that's a case of a shot that gets fielded in the covers or penetrates the covers. It's the extras. It's a few little bits and pieces here and there that make the difference. Catherine Brunt, to be fair on her, came in, tried to hit it, and got caught. And actually, that's what needed to happen.
Exactly.
What we didn't want is someone
who's just going to block.
Yeah. And it just seemed like, certainly when Siva and Boucher were there together, that it was just kind of pushing singles.
Yeah. And they weren't even trying for the second a lot of the time.
Yeah, and the other factor to put in, of course, is that there was some really good bowling going on.
Yeah.
So Sneh Rana, for example, bowled really, really well, and it went for 3 runs off the 18th over, I think. And that's really what turned the game. So with 3 overs to go, England needed 30, which seemed doable. With 2 overs to go, we needed 27. Not doable.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, all I'm saying is, India, please just smash the Aussies in the final. That's all I ask. All I ask. But
yes, so you've just given away the results of the second semi-final now.
Yeah, I mean, if people don't know the result, then where are you?
So we've just come back from the second semi-final, Australia against New Zealand, and New Zealand batted first and scored 144 for 7. Some really nice innings. Sophie Devine, I thought, was brilliant. Amelia Kerr did really well. Plymouth came in as well. I really liked her.
Yeah, me too. I thought she was really good. Her first time ever playing in international cricket.
Yeah, so international debut in a semi-final match at the Commonwealth Games, and very first ball she was given out.
Yeah,
and it just occurs to me she's probably never come across DRS before. She's never played international. So I spoke to Sophie Devine, who told her to review it, and it was overturned. So she went on to make 17 from 16. But I like what I saw there.
Yeah, similarly, I was impressed with Amelia Kerr. especially given the fact that her form hasn't been that great recently. I thought she batted really well, 40 from 36. And so in the end, New Zealand posted 144, which I thought was good. Obviously, like, you want to be posting more against the Aussies, but I thought it could be doable. And but then at the same time, Australia bowled really well. Megan Shute bowled amazingly, 3 wickets. Talia McGrath kind of always seems to bowl well in some way. She either has a really good economy or she gets wickets. And
Player
I
of the
don't really
tournament, really.
Oh, honestly, like with bat and ball, contributed so much. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And then it came to Australia to chase it down.
And they never looked like not doing it, I think is what I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, Talia McGrath, 34 from 23. Beth Mooney got 36 from 29. So lots of just significant contributions, but it was just game management.
Yeah.
They just did what they needed to do to score the winning runs with still 3 balls to go. And that's, there was never, we wanted, the crowd were getting whipped up and cheering for New Zealand, because most of them, like us, were anyone but Australia.
Well, you say that. I kind of was wanting Australia to go to the final. Firstly, so then, India can have the opportunity to absolutely thrash them, and then it's like really bitter for them because they thought they were going to win the gold medal, and then India snatch it out of their hands and they can stand on that podium and look down at Australia. But also because it means that England will face New Zealand, which is easier opposition, so we have more chance of getting a bronze medal.
Anyway, Leah Tahuhu at 4 overs,
good.
1 made us 3 for 20. This young up-and-coming player, I think they
need to give her a contract.
Give her a contract, sign her up.
Yeah, she's really good. Also Fran Jonas, I thought bowled really well. I was kind of sad she didn't get a wicket, but no, I thought she played well.
Yeah, very good. But they always seemed a little bit short. But actually, I think had they scored another 20 runs, then Australia would have found a way of getting those 20 runs as well.
But I think also it was very impressive of New Zealand to kind of, well, as you say, it kind of cancels out what I said, but like taking it to the last over.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Australia probably could have got it down a couple of overs before, but I did think, especially that penultimate over by Hayley Jensen, I thought that was really good because she'd been so expensive throughout. But then I thought she bowled really, 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 really well after that.
Yes, so that is today's games done. England, therefore, will play New Zealand tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So a really early start.
Yeah.
I've never known a cricket game start at 10 a.m. before. So that's in 12 hours' time at time of recording. And then 5 o'clock tomorrow, Australia play India in the gold medal match. So we will see what happens.
Yeah, so this is our final kind of Commonwealth Today at the Cricket episode.
So I hope you enjoyed it. It's given you a little bit of insight and not been too long.
And I'm sure, well, we're going to have a bit of a break now, but the main podcast will be back in just over a week or so.
Yeah, if you don't listen to our regular podcast, then check it out on Spotify and all usual platforms.
And we'll see you soon.